My fiancée thought she was clever, texting her ex during our engagement party. Can't wait to see you tonight. She didn't realize her message synced to my iPad. I just raised my glass. Hours later, she found out the party was her goodbye. Ames, 31, a mid-level analyst, had been with Vivina, 29, a public relations coordinator, for 6 years. We lived in Boston, a vibrant but expensive city. Our combined income was respectable but strained. I made about $120,000 and Vivina made about $90,000. We lived in a charming but small 2-bedroom apartment near the Fenway area. Weekends were often spent at trendy but mid-range restaurants. We liked Toro for tapas or a cheap Italian place near North End. Our friends were mostly other young professionals. They were a mix of Vivina's bubbly colleagues and my quieter engineering group. Everyone seemed to enjoy our stability. They saw us as the reliable couple, the one that would definitely make it. We were not flashy. We were just comfortable. I had been feeling stagnant at work for the last year. My projects were predictable, and my growth had plateaued. I was a smart guy, and I knew I was worth more. I had been quietly interviewing for months. I wanted a real challenge. I wanted a significant life change. I wanted a chance to build real wealth. Vivina was comfortable with the status quo. She liked our routine, the familiar streets, the close friends. She loved being a big fish in our small Boston pond. Her career was steady, not ambitious, but she liked the social scene it provided. Then the opportunity arrived. It was with a massive, innovative tech company. They were a global leader in sustainable energy systems. The role was director of financial modeling for their new division. The location was Salt Lake City, Utah. This was a big change, a completely new landscape. The salary was massive. It started at $310,000 annually. The benefits included a full relocation package. They offered a 10% annual performance bonus and a sizable stock option grant. It was the kind of offer that was truly life-altering. It would put us on a path to complete financial independence within a decade. I knew Vivina would have reservations. I should have perhaps introduced the idea more slowly. Instead, I laid it all out at dinner. We were at our favorite sushi place, Oya. I had a copy of the offer letter in my briefcase. I was excited. I was practically vibrating with future possibilities. Vivina, I have huge news, I said. She put down her chopsticks. Don't tell me your firm finally gave you a raise, she replied. Better than that, a lot better. I got an offer, a big one. It's a director role in Utah. I pushed the letter across the table. Her eyes scanned the numbers quickly. She stopped at the salary figure, but the expression on her face was not excitement. It was a cold, dismissive frown. $310,000. That's a good number, Ames. I admit, she said. It's a great number, Vivina. It's life-changing. We could pay off this apartment in 5 years. We could buy a house for cash. Utah, though. Are you serious? Nobody goes to Utah. It's mountains and Mormons. They have an incredible outdoor scene. The city is growing fast. The company is revolutionary. My job is here, Ames. My friends are here. My parents are 10 minutes away. You expect me to throw away my life for, what? A desert, she asked. It's not a desert. It's a major city. You can find a PR job there quickly. Your skills are transferable. I don't want a transferable job. I have a good job now. I like my life here. You've been moody about your career for months. I thought you would snap out of it. She crumpled the corner of the offer letter. I felt a knot form in my stomach. This was not the supportive reaction I had hoped for. Moody. I was seeking a better future for us, for our family. We have a good future here. You just hate that I'm more socially adept than you are. You hate that my life is more fun. This Utah thing is just your pathetic little attempt to feel important. Her words cut deep. They were needlessly cruel. She always minimized my career ambitions. She made them sound like a personal failing. This is an enormous opportunity, Vivina. It's a title I earned. It's a salary I deserve. It's prestige. Prestige. What prestige? You'll be managing accountants in a place that shuts down at 9 p.m. You'll be a big fish in a puddle. You're being ridiculous, Ames. Just tell them no. She picked up her chopsticks again and continued eating. The conversation was closed for her. The silence in the restaurant suddenly felt deafening. I looked at the crumpled letter. I realized how little she respected my drive. Her dismissal was total. It was clear she saw me as secondary to her comfortable Boston life. I had to decide if my desire for respect and growth was worth the conflict she was now guaranteeing. Update 1. I did not tell them no. I accepted the offer the next morning. I sent an email to the HR recruiter. My decision was final. I made a commitment to myself. I would not allow her complacency to dictate my potential. I knew I had to handle the fallout carefully. I was not ready to announce my decision yet. I needed a plan. The next few weeks were tense at home. I tried several times to reopen the discussion. I wanted her to see the bigger picture. I wanted her to share my vision. Can we talk about Salt Lake City again? I asked one evening as she scrolled through her phone. We'll already talked, Ames. It's a silly idea. Drop it. She replied without looking up. It's 3 times my current salary. Think of the freedom that offers. I don't need your freedom. I like our life. You're overthinking things. Just be happy. I'm not happy with stagnation, Vivina. I want more for us. You want more for you. You want to run away. It's a cowardly move, Ames. She repeated the same few dismissive lines. They were clearly designed to shut down my ambition. Her friends also reinforced her view. We had a dinner party that weekend. I was cornered by Caleb, one of her oldest friends. He was a low-level sales guy. So Utah, huh? That's crazy, man, Caleb said. It's a great job, Caleb. Amazing growth potential. But you're leaving Boston. Everyone knows Boston is the place to be. Vevina loves it here. You're being selfish, Ames. I'm trying to build a better life. That's not selfish. That's responsible. Nah, man, you should listen to your woman. She knows what's best for you both. Don't be an idiot. I just smiled politely and excused myself. Their unified mockery solidified my resolve. I realized their lives were just as small as Vivina wanted ours to be. I started planning in secret. My operation became entirely compartmentalized. I was outwardly the same Ames, the compliant fiancé. Inwardly, I was executing a precise, surgical withdrawal. First, the finances. I spent hours with a financial advisor. I opened a new individual investment account. It was at a different bank, one that Vivina had no association with. I rerouted a significant portion of my paycheck. It went straight into this new, hidden account. I kept the same small amount of money flowing into our joint account. She would not notice the difference. I made a list of all joint assets. I noted my legal rights to each. The apartment was rented, so that was simple. Our furniture was easily divided. The only complex asset was the engagement ring. I kept its appraisal in a safety deposit box. Next came the research. I spent lunch breaks on Zillow. I looked for apartments and houses in Salt Lake City. I wanted a place in the Avenues neighborhood. It was close to downtown but had a quieter, historical feel. I found a great real estate agent. She was sharp and efficient. I flew out for a long weekend, saying I was at a work conference in New York. I looked at 5 properties in 2 days. I settled on a modern condo. It was a spacious 2-bedroom with stunning mountain views. I made an offer, and it was quickly accepted. I arranged all the financing. I used the money in my new account. I secured the loan entirely in my name. The down payment was significant, and I loved the feeling of that independence. I sorted through my personal belongings. I made 3 piles. Keep, sell, and donate. I boxed up my books and my old college trophies. I stored the boxes in a rental unit a few miles away. Vivina never went into the apartment storage closet. It was easy to move things out slowly. I told her I was just doing some spring cleaning. She barely noticed. She was too focused on planning her next night out with her girlfriends. I started networking with people in Salt Lake City. I used LinkedIn constantly. I spoke to my new colleagues. I found out the best places to get groceries and to work out. I found a good tailor. I was building a new life. Every small detail was a source of satisfaction. My plan was meticulous. It was designed to maximize my gain and minimize her leverage. I bought a new car. I sold my old one privately. I used the new address for the registration. The car was shipped out ahead of me. My focus at work became laser sharp. I was leaving, but I wanted to finish strong. I handed over all my accounts flawlessly. My boss was disappointed but supportive. He gave me an excellent reference and a generous severance package. I timed my last day precisely. It was 2 weeks after our elaborate engagement party. We had planned the party months ago. I could not cancel it without causing immense social drama. I decided to proceed. The party would serve a dual purpose. It would be our public farewell. The engagement party was a grand affair. It was held at a trendy, rooftop bar overlooking the Charles River. Vivina was radiant. She was basking in the attention of her friends and family. I played the part of the devoted fiancé perfectly. I smiled. I shook hands. I thanked everyone for coming. I gave a heartfelt but carefully worded toast. I raised my glass to Vivina. For a future of happiness. The future I meant was mine alone. During the party, I noticed Vivina was constantly on her phone. She would turn away and quickly tap out messages. At one point, she excused herself to the restroom. She left her phone on the cocktail table. A notification popped up on my iPad. It was a text message preview. I had enabled iMessage syncing a year ago. She must have forgotten. The text was from a contact named Chad R. I knew Chad was an ex-boyfriend. He was the one she always claimed was just a silly high school fling. The message read, "Can't wait to see you tonight. It's been too long." My heart did not break. It turned to ice. The betrayal was not shocking. It was simply the final piece of evidence I needed. It was proof of her contempt. The contempt that had been simmering beneath the surface for months. I just raised my glass again. I held a fixed, pleasant smile. I waited. Hours later, the party was winding down. Our friends were congratulating us on our perfect future. We got into the Uber to head home. "That was an amazing party, Ames," she said. She was a little drunk. "It was perfect, Vivina. Truly memorable." "I'm so excited for everything," she slurred. "Me too," I replied. "Especially for tonight. I have a surprise." She giggled. She thought it was romantic. She had no idea. Update 2. The moment we got back to the apartment, I moved. I did not waste a second. I put my briefcase on the kitchen counter. I took out a manila envelope. The envelope held all the necessary paperwork. The signed lease agreement for the condo in Salt Lake City was there. So was the formal notice of my resignation. I also had the initial letter from my lawyer. "What's the surprise, Ames? You're acting weird," she asked. I just laid the documents on the counter. I spoke calmly. My voice was steady. It did not betray the intense, cold calculation I felt. "The surprise is I'm moving. I accepted the job in Salt Lake City. My last day was yesterday." She stared at the documents. The smile vanished. Her face went pale. "That's not funny, Ames. Stop the joke." "It's not a joke, Vivina. This is the new lease. This is my resignation. I start in 2 weeks. She snatched up the papers. She scanned them quickly, her eyes fixed on the financial figures. She began to breathe quickly. "You didn't. You wouldn't dare. After all the work on the wedding, after this party. You rejected the idea entirely. You mocked me for even considering it. You insulted my ambition." "I was trying to protect us. This is our home. You can't just leave?" "I am leaving. You made it clear that my career and personal growth were secondary to your comfort. I chose my career. I chose my self-respect." She threw the papers back onto the counter. Her voice rose quickly. "You're a coward. You planned this in secret. You're cutting me out. You're terrified of commitment." "I was committed to you, Vivina. I was committed to a better life for both of us. You killed that commitment. You belittled my future. You made it clear you only valued the present, not the potential." "Don't you dare lecture me." "We are engaged. You are giving me an ultimatum right now, Ames. If you walk out of this door, we are over. We are done. Is that what you want?" I looked her directly in the eye. I did not flinch. "That's your ultimatum, Vivina. I have already made my choice. I choose the future I earned." She started crying. The tears were instant and dramatic. She lunged forward, trying to grab my arm. "Please, Ames. I didn't mean it. I'll come with you. I'll find a job. I promise." "You've had months to consider it. You rejected the entire idea. You have an appointment with your ex-boyfriend tonight. The one you're so excited to see." She stopped crying instantly. She froze. The blood drained from her face again. "How did you know about Chad?" she whispered. "Your text sent to my iPad. I saw it. Just another small detail you missed. You were willing to cheat on me during our own engagement party. You proved I was already gone to you." She tried to deny it, but her words were weak. The confrontation was over. I had all the cards. I packed a small bag. I told her the movers were coming in 3 days. I gave her the number for my lawyer. I walked out. I did not look back. The fallout over the next few weeks was a blur. Vevina followed a predictable cycle. It was a textbook reaction to loss of control. First, there was anger. She sent me aggressive, emotional text messages. They were full of insults and accusations. I deleted them unread. Then came bargaining. She called me repeatedly. She promised to change her ways. She promised to be supportive. She offered to quit her job. I did not answer her calls. Then came depression. She sent long, sad emails. They detailed her heartache. They blamed me for ruining her life. I replied once, a short, formal email. I explained that her poor choices, not my decision, created her problems. Finally, it was anger again. She threatened to sue me for half my assets. She threatened to tell my family lies about my behavior. I remained calm. I was logical. I was detached. I forwarded her lawyer's letters to my own counsel. They handled every threat with clinical efficiency. On moving day, she was absent. She had gone to stay with her parents. I felt a profound sense of relief. It was not sorrow. It was the calm of a surgical site after a successful operation. I was free. I drove the long distance to Salt Lake City. The mountains were stunning. They rose sharply, a clear break from the flat horizon of Boston. My new condo was beautiful. It was full of light. My new life began the next day. The job was demanding. The hours were long. But the work was meaningful. I was respected. My team was intelligent and driven. I began thriving immediately. I joined a gym close to my apartment. I made friends with my neighbors. I went to a few local music festivals. I explored the canyons on the weekends. My work success was immediate. I restructured 2 major financial models within 3 months. The changes saved the company millions. I received an unexpected performance bonus. It was for $20,000. It was more than Vevina made in 3 months. I used the money to pay down the principal on the condo. It was a tangible win. I felt the financial security building every day. Meanwhile, the ripples spread. Vevina's friends started reaching out. Ames, what happened? Vevina is devastated. One friend texted. She's telling people you went crazy. She says you abandoned her. Another added. I ignored most of them. They were her proxies. I was polite to her family. Ames, we don't understand. Did you leave her for someone else? Her mother asked on a quick phone call. No, Mrs. Lanning. I left because she was completely unsupportive of my career. I left because she had moved on to her ex-boyfriend before I even left. The reasons are simple and clear. I kept the conversation short. I allowed them to draw their own conclusions. The reality of Vevina's lies soon emerged. She had told everyone I was moving to a dead-end job in a horrible city. She claimed I had a minor supervisory role. She said I made only a slight increase in salary. She had minimized my success to preserve her victim narrative. One afternoon, I made a post on LinkedIn. It was a professional, understated announcement. I celebrated my first anniversary at the new company. I included a picture of the director of financial modeling title on my office door. I thanked the leadership team. I mentioned the significant growth of the sustainable energy division. The news spread like wildfire. The true title. The sheer prestige. The undeniable success. It was all public. The truth was shocking to her social circle. I received a flood of emails and texts. Ames, I can't believe it. Director, you should have told us. One old colleague wrote. I'm so sorry, Ames. Vevina told us you were just a supervisor. She lied to everyone. A mutual friend confessed. Even her family members sent short notes. They apologized for their previous confusion. They validated my decision. They all saw the truth now. Then, she showed up. One rainy Saturday afternoon, my doorbell rang. I opened the door. It was Vevina. She looked tired. She was holding a small, wet suitcase. She had driven across the country. Ames, I had to see you. I was shocked by your post. Director, I had no idea, she said. Her voice was soft and shaky. You didn't know because you didn't want to know. You refused to listen. I replied, I've changed, Ames. I realized I made a mistake. I want to move in. I can start looking for a job immediately. We can start over. She tried to step past the threshold. I blocked her path easily. You've changed. Did you change when you were texting Chad? Did you change when you were insulting my job potential? Did you change when you told all our friends I was a pathetic failure? That was the old me. I was hurt. I was reacting badly. I'm sorry. I love you, Ames. I miss you. You miss this, I said, gesturing to the view of the city and mountains. You don't miss me. You miss the security and prestige that my new circumstances offer. You insisted I was a failure when I was in Boston. Now that I'm successful, you want back in. Your feelings haven't changed, Vivina. Only your circumstances have. I rejected her firmly. I was not angry. I was simply explaining a truth to a slow student. She escalated quickly after I closed the door on her. Her next move was legal. I received lawyer letters demanding half the value of my new condo. She claimed half of my retirement savings. She tried to claim part of my stock options. I just forwarded them to my lawyer. He shut down every claim logically. Our joint assets were few. The condo and new savings were all my separate property. The engagement ring was a conditional gift. My lawyer demanded its return. Her final desperate move was a social media campaign. She posted long, emotional stories on Instagram. They detailed my supposed cruelty. She called me a heartless traitor. The campaign completely backfired. Our mutual friends had seen the proof of her lies. They called her out publicly. Even her closest allies seemed to tire of the drama. The comments on her posts quickly turned against her. 1 year later, I was thriving fully. I had bought a small investment property in a nearby town. My salary had increased again. I was in a stable new relationship with Carrie's, a kind and intelligent woman. She was a research scientist. She respected my career and had her own ambitions. The contrast to Vivina was stark. I received one final, short message from Vivina. It was late one night. I truly regret how I handled everything. I'm sorry, Ames. I ruined the best thing I ever had. My reply was short, polite, and final. I knew she meant it, but I felt nothing. I accept your apology, Vivina. I wish you well. Final update. A few months after Vivina's final message, I was back in Boston for a major industry conference. I was presenting a new financial model. My presentation was a success. It was picked up by the financial press. I was flying high. I received an unexpected text message. It was from Vivina's father, Mr. Lanning. He asked if I would meet him and his wife for coffee. He said it was important. I was hesitant, but I respected them. They had always been kind to me. They were not malicious people, just misguided parents. I agreed to meet them at a quiet cafe near my hotel. They were waiting at a small corner table. They looked older and sadder than I remembered. I sat down, and they ordered me a black coffee. We talked about the weather. We talked about my job. I kept the conversation professional and surface level. Then, Mr. Lanning cleared his throat. He looked me straight in the eye. Eames, we owe you a massive apology, he said. His voice was heavy. You don't owe me anything, sir. I'm fine. I've moved on. No, we do. We heard about your presentation. We saw the article. Director. That's an amazing accomplishment. We know the truth now. Vivina has finally admitted everything. She admitted the lies. She admitted the cheating. She admitted how she belittled you for years. We were enablers, Ames. We encouraged her to chase comfort and status. We taught her to minimize anything that wasn't flashy. We taught her to dismiss your quiet ambition. Mrs. Lanning reached across the table and touched my hand. Her eyes were full of real, honest remorse. We're so sorry we were not better parents. We failed her. And we failed to support you. We see what you have now. You built it all yourself. You deserve every bit of your success. Their apology was sincere. It was not a plea for a reunion. It was a clear acknowledgement of their own failure. It was the closure I never knew I needed. It was a release. I accepted their apology gracefully. I told them I held no resentment towards them. I said I hoped Vivina would eventually find her own path to maturity. They nodded slowly. The conversation ended with a feeling of quiet peace. We hugged goodbye. I knew I would never see them again. The chapter was fully closed. I reflected on the entire experience that evening. I was sitting in my comfortable hotel room. The city lights of Boston were spread out below me. They no longer held any power over me. I had detached my self-worth from that city. I had detached it from Vivina's shallow approval. The core lesson was stark and simple. Do not let other people define your ambition. Vivina's rejection of my opportunity was never about the city or the job. It was about her own fear of change. It was about her need for total control. It was a reflection of her internal limitations. Her insults were projections. They were designed to make me feel small. They were designed to keep me small, close, and controllable. I realized that my calm, rational response was my greatest strength. I did not engage in her emotional drama. I did not need her validation. I focused entirely on my actions. I focused on building a concrete, undeniable reality. The moment I chose my path, her opinion became irrelevant. The only opinion that truly mattered was the one I had of myself. The revenge was never the goal. The revenge was a byproduct of my success. She ruined her own life by refusing to support mine. She lost everything by assuming my worth was less than her comfort. She lost the chance for financial security and a meaningful relationship. She lost it all for a few cruel words and a silly, brief text message with an ex. She made a terrible cost-benefit analysis. The biggest mistake people make is seeking permission for their greatness. They wait for a partner or a friend to light a life-changing decision. They fear the conflict. They fear the loneliness. They fear being told they are foolish. I stopped asking for permission. I stopped fearing the conflict. I simply acted. My life now is beautiful. It is peaceful. My condo in Salt Lake City is paid off. My investment properties are growing. I am engaged to Carrie's. Our relationship is based on mutual respect and shared goals. We challenge each other constantly. We plan our future together. Our future is based on growth, not stagnation. It is based on ambition, not comfort. I am not cold. I am simply rational. I am not vengeful. I am simply successful. I learned that the best closure is not a final, dramatic confrontation. The best closure is a new life so good that the old one is no longer even a memory. I am happy. I am peaceful. I am fulfilled. I earned this life.